I'm Pastor Jason. I'm the lead pastor here at Coast Hills, and I'm going to invite a few of our El Salvador missionaries. So will you give them a nice welcome? This morning we're going to hear a little bit about their trip. So Jimmy and Michelle led the team, and we've got a few of our student leaders that are going to share a little bit. So, buenos dias. Fluent. They're just killing it already. It's amazing. So you guys want to tell us a little bit about your trip? Give us your name. And so how was it? 7 days in El Salvador.
Well,
was this the first mission trip for all three of you?
Yeah.
Yep? Okay.
Yeah. My name is Caden Ricketts. Yeah. And just going down there, it was amazing. It was very eye-opening because you realized how much we have here and then how little they have there, but yet they're so happy and so joyful, and I think it really just touched my heart. I met this little kid, his name was Francisco, and they lived in areas way past the river, and they had no electricity. They lived in a small house, and just seeing the way he lived and how joyful he was and how happy he was with his life, with how little he had, it just really touched my heart, and it was amazing, life-changing.
My name is Maggie Kowalczyk, and it was, like Hayden said, it was very eye-opening, and just seeing how joyful and how giving they were. They literally had the littlest things and they wanted to give it to you. And I also met this little girl named Zoe, and she was just sweetest thing ever. She just always wanted to be by your side and just love on you. So yeah.
My name's Kelly Eric. Yeah, it was, again, just a very eye-opening experience, and I think that they were all, they all had smiles on their faces, they were joyful, and they were so giving with all that they had.
Tell us a little bit, if you can, was there anything what was the Lord speaking to you, or what did you learn about, or was there a moment, one of my, I shared even, I think, last week about, one of the first things we did, literally off the plane, was get on a bus and start sharing the gospel with the little gospel bracelet. I was so proud of you guys and surprised at how everybody was just jumping right in to sharing the gospel with people. They have no idea. They just come sit on the bus and you give them a bracelet. I don't know. Is there any moments like that for you guys?
Yeah. Well, throughout the week, I was just reading Proverbs, and then I finished reading it, and I asked Jimmy, Jimmy, what should I read now? He said, you should go to Romans and try to finish it in these 3 days that you have. So I started reading, and then Pastor Jorge said, you guys have to find your nugget of scripture that day. So I read Romans 12, and it says, behave like a Christian. And a verse that stood out to me was Romans 12:21. Do not overcome by evil, but overcome evil with good. And just being down there, we're doing all these good things. We're surrounded by Christians. We're sharing the gospel, giving to others. But coming back here, we're surrounded with evil. And you realize that there's sin in the world. And that just stuck with me. I have to do good things, even to those that don't do good things to me. So,
yeah.
One thing was I was praying, and just a word popped into my head, and it was patience. And we were serving the little kids while their moms were hearing Michelle's testimony, and this little boy was on the trampoline, and he totally face planted. And so I went in there and I picked him up and I brought him out, and he was throwing a whole tantrum. He was kicking and punching. I was I just have to have patience. I couldn't speak Spanish to him, so it was really hard to understand what he was saying, and but just having patience and praying to God that he could help me through it.
Yeah.
I think the one thing that I got out of this week was obedience. I had a time where we were out doing an outreach, and the kids were coming, and we had all these Pop-It toys. They're these fidget toys, and all the kids loved them. And I felt the Lord call me to get, I had toys packed in my suitcase for a special moment, and I felt the Lord tell me to go get it, and I completely ignored it. And 5 minutes later, this little girl walks in, and there's no more Pop-Its. And another little girl comes and gives her Pop-It. And so I told Caden to translate and tell the little girl to wait here. And so I went and got the toy, and she was just so happy. So
that's cool. That's cool. Interesting, like where the Lord gives us those little promptings, and that's just what we're talking about this morning, is walking in the Spirit, and really what that looks like to be able to walk in the Spirit and to hear the Spirit's kind of whisper and direction. What about you guys as our fearless leaders? What was
a moment?
Michelle and Jimmy.
Do you want to go first? All right. I had so many moments. I think something that really sticks out to me, I think, is we were praying over these women we had walked out to their house, and it was like a pretty far walk, pretty rocky, no real trail, and Pastor Jorge said that it was the farthest out house from the church. So we had walked all the way over there, and their house is, made of metal sheets, and there's dirt floors, and it's hot and sweaty, and we got to pray over these women who live there, and I looked down, and the Lord had already kind of just like broke my heart a little bit. And we were praying over them, and I looked down at the woman that's sitting on a chair below me, and her journal says Esperanza, period, like on the front, so just hope. And the Lord really just reminded me this trip, like that my treasure is not in this earth, my citizenship is not here, and my life is not about me having a comfy existence and a nice life, but that truly, like, for my treasure to be in heaven. And these women know something about hope and treasure in heaven that I will never grasp because of all the stuff that I have, and but they get it, and their hope is truly in heaven, and that was just so moving for me and challenging, and just something that I want to continue in after this trip. So
that's cool.
Awesome. So, like Michelle, many God moments for me out there, being able to head this team. While we were out there, before we went out there, about a month out, I was praying to the Lord, asking him, where through Scripture do you want me to walk this team through while we're there? And the Lord gave me Philippians, and as soon as we got off the plane there, sat down with Jorge, he had told the students, hey, for these 7 days that you're here, I want you guys to expend yourselves for the sake of Christ. And it's like the Lord confirmed in my heart, like, this is what it is to be. So our theme verse while we were down there was Philippians 1:21. For me to live is Christ, and for me to die is gain. And one of the days, I think it was Tuesday, it was one of the hardest working days. Me and the boy team had to carry these 85 to 95 pound bags of gravel and concrete up this mud hill in order to help lay the foundation for this home. And it was such a beautiful blessing to my heart to see these guys pour out their hearts for this family that they do not know. And they were heavy bags even for myself. But to see these students truly receive the call and understand that their life is not their own, that they have been bought with a price, and that watching them physically sacrifice themselves for the sake of other Christians in the family was just such a blessing to my heart. It's what every pastor wants to see.
Yeah, that's so sweet. Awesome.